Hey everyone, I'm here. I'm just trying to get the level set up. So give everybody a couple more minutes to get on here. And hopefully the cat won't open all of the presents. Okay. Let's see. Nope. Not yet. Hold on. Is that better? A little bit. You gotta love live, right? Okay. All right. Hi, Kevin. Thank you for wishing Terry a happy birthday. So I'm trying to figure out how to best do this because I'm going to open stuff. So who knows if it'll get on camera or not. We'll try. And I have Fritz here and his fashionable underoos because getting old sucks. So, yeah. Hi, Tim. Fritz, why are you on the presents? So for everybody that's been asking me, I'm just going to start talking because this will be archived on YouTube. So anybody who misses this or is late can watch it later. But for everybody who has been asking me an update on Terry's arrangements. So a lot happened today. Which is ironic considering it's his birthday. Hi, Clint. So yesterday afternoon, so basically here's what happened for those of you who aren't caught up. Terry passed away at USC Cancer Hospital in Los Angeles. But our family is from Rockford, Illinois. And so we have a family plot in Rockford at the cemetery out there. It's where my grandma and grandpa are buried, Terry's mom and dad. And we actually have 4 spots in the plot. So grandma and grandpa's in 2 of them. And there's 1 left for me and 1 left for Terry. But that's in the Midwest. So, that's quite a ways away. And Terry passed away at USC Hospital in Los Angeles. So it's not just the normal kind of having to navigate funeral arrangements, but it's also the fact that I have to get him on a flight out to Illinois. And if you see me looking weird places, it's because my monitor is across the room over there, the big screen TV on the wall. So everybody told me everybody at the hospital said, well, you have to find a mortuary in LA and they will pick him up from USC and then they'll work with the mortuary in Illinois to get him sent out there. But the thing is that even though I haven't been there since I was like a toddler, I'm still a Midwest person. And I trust people from the Midwest a lot more than I trust people from Los Angeles. Sorry, it's just true. So I didn't listen to what USC or anybody told me to do. I immediately called the cemetery in Illinois. And I'm so glad that I did because they have literally held my hand through all of this and walked me through everything. And they're handling everything. So I'm basically only dealing with them. I'm only paying them. And they are handling everything through them. So they have a mortuary out here in LA that's in their network that they work with. And that mortuary went and picked Terry up from USC on Sunday. And so he's been there. And they were preparing him because they have to put him on a flight. He has to go from, Kevin, it's funny that you say that. because first of all, the truth is out there. And second of all, did you know, I didn't know this until today, but today, which is my dad's birthday, is the exact day back in 1993 that the X-Files debuted. So, exactly. Trust no one. But so anyway, the mortuary in LA picked Terry up on Sunday, and he's been there. They have to put him on a flight from LAX to O'Hare in Chicago. And I got an email yesterday from the mortuary in LA that that he was ready for his flight, and they were going to book his flight this morning. So then I got an email later today, like probably around noon, saying that they had booked his flight, but he's not going to be flying out until Monday, the 15th, because they're waiting for a permit and all that other kind of stuff. So anyway, first thing this morning, I got up and went to the post office because I needed to send a package to Illinois, to the cemetery in Illinois, for stuff for Terry's burial. And I haven't mailed a package in a really long time. Like, I get it was a large box. It was like an Amazon box. But it was $71 to get it there in 3 days. And I'm just like, well, okay. I'm not going to not do it. Like, I need it to get there and be there by Monday. So $71 later, a box is on its way to Illinois. And it's got the clothes that he's going to be buried in. I had told the funeral director in Illinois, I said my dad was not a suit and tie guy. So I sent clothes for him to be buried in that meant something and that he would be most comfortable in. So he's actually going to be buried in his cult radio shirt and just a pair of pants and a hoodie. But he's also going to be buried wearing his TCB necklace, which I'm way back here now, but let me see if I can scoot forward. For you guys that know how much of an Elvis fan Terry was, a couple years ago, we interviewed Lowell Hayes, who was Elvis Presley's jeweler, and had made these pendants for Elvis and the Memphis Mafia that says TCB, taking care of business. And when we did the interview, Lowell, we got 2 TCB pendants, one for Terry from Lowell and one for me. So I sent Terry's to have him wear when he's buried. And I have mine. And then also it matches the tattoo that's on my wrist. And then just a couple of other mementos. Terry loved the Frankenstein plushie that was the cats. So I sent that so that there was something from the cats to be buried with him. And the last movie that Terry and I had seen together was actually the new Superman. And one of his birthday presents that I had bought, because he loved Crypto, the dog, in Superman. He was so excited Crypto was in the movie. So I cheated and I pre-opened one of his presents, which was a plush Crypto that I bought him, and sent that to be buried with him as well. But there's a picture. So it'll be that and the Frankenstein monster plushie, and he'll be wearing the TCB necklace and a cult radio shirt. And then, so I got home from the post office and heard from the LA mortuary that his flight's booked for Monday. And then I heard from the cemetery in Illinois, and we basically went through a couple of things, and I filled out all the paperwork. I actually found out they gave me like a humongous discount just to try to keep me within budget, because when all was said and done, I'm still looking at like $13,000 between the funeral and the flight, or the funeral arrangements rather, the burial and the flight, and they charge you, even though I own the plot because it was left to me in my grandpa's trust, they charge you to open the ground and bury him and close the ground, and then the headstone alone is like $3,000. And it's not like some huge monument. It's just a flat, regular headstone that matches my grandma and grandpa's. But yeah, I'm like looking at like $13,000 total ish. So I paid the first part of that to them today. I paid them about $7,000 today. And then he should be arriving in Illinois on Monday, the 15th. He'll probably get there like around 6 p.m. And then I would assume that he'll be laid to rest at some time next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then I have to order the headstone. So for all of the people that were asking, that's the update. It's moving a lot faster than I thought it would, but all appreciation goes to the cemetery in Illinois, because they have totally been holding my hand through all of this, because I've never had to do anything like this. And Terry was my only family, so I guess I won't have to again. Somebody gets to do it for me. I don't know who, but I guess we'll figure that out when we get there. Clint, I know what you're saying about how that's why when you die you want to be cremated because it's so expensive, but it's actually not that much cheaper to be cremated. It's a little bit, but it's not that much. I mean, I didn't want to cremate Terry because he didn't want to be. He had requested to be buried, but I was looking at prices just because I was worried I wasn't going to be able to afford it. And it's really not that much cheaper. I mean, but of course it depends on where you are. Like, for example, I was on the Hollywood Forever Cemetery website, which is a big cemetery out here in LA and very famous. But I was on their website because I was actually looking to see where David Lynch was buried. He's buried there. At some point, when I can actually go for more than an hour or two without crying, I want to go down there and visit his grave. But for Hollywood Forever, for a cremation and a burial, it's about $7,000, which is what I paid for Terry to be buried in the Midwest. So, and that's not going to include the headstone, and that's not going to include, if you have the remains from the cremation buried, then you're going to have to pay for like the burial, the ground opening thing too, unless your remains are scattered or given to like a family member. So, yeah, see what Kevin says? It was $23,000 in 2017, and that was for cremation. So cremation is actually, everybody thinks cremation is a lot cheaper, but it's not. I think it just kind of depends on where it is. Like, and that was actually one of the things that the people in LA told me, is that I'm glad, or one of the people in Illinois told me, I'm glad I started with them, because I guess cemeteries and funeral directors, they have like a network that's like a medical network, like a doctor network. And because this place in Illinois is in the same network as the mortuary in LA that picked up Terry, and because the family, me, is going through the cemetery in Illinois, and they're the one initiating the contract, they're able to hold the LA mortuary to their prices. So, again, it's where you go and location, I guess. But yeah, everything in LA is more expensive, which is another reason why I said I'm not starting with LA, because I don't trust LA. I don't trust them. They're more expensive. They see people coming and they look for opportunities to steal people's money. No, 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 no. Okay, so I actually have 5 packages to open. One of them, so we normally do 7 presents for Terry because we do birthday week. And he normally gets like a little something every day until the last present on the last day. Yeah, I think you should, Dave. I think you should close your eyes, because if you just close your eyes and just hear it, it'll be like, you know, listening to the package opening on the radio show. Also, in retrospect, because I'm not that young, I probably should have wore my glasses, since the monitor is teeny tiny and it's across the room. Oh wait, I can turn on the magnifying glass. See, that's where we are, guys, because I've been doing stuff with cult radio for like 20-some years. I used to be able to read stuff without the magnifying glass. Now, not so much. Okay, so I have, and the cats are going to try to open everything. I just know it, but they just figured out that there's presents here. So, normally, birthday week is 7 days. We start 6 days before Terry's birthday. The 7th day is on Terry's birthday. So I had already bought all this stuff. This stuff came while Terry was in the hospital, because he went to the hospital, I think it was like August 25th or 26th. One of the presents, there's one missing. There is 6 over here, but one's missing because that was the crypto plushie that I sent to be buried with Terry this morning. I was actually going to wait and do that after tonight's YouTube, but I was worried about the package not getting there in time. And then there's actually only 5 here, because the first one I'm going to open actually has 2 in it, because they're related, and I figured why do them separately. But we'll open that first. So, and the cats may, oh, and the last one, the big one, the one that Terry would have gotten today, I'm going to open it and do my best to show it to you. But it's something that is functional, like it's a collectible. So I don't know if I can set that up and have it working while we're on YouTube. We'll see. I don't know. If not, I might have to do a video later. But okay. So the first one we'll do is this one. Guys, is this a good one? Oh wait. You can't just be over here mauling the presents. You have to say hello to everyone. So this is Hermie. Ho ho. Come here. Come here, ho. No? Okay. Imhotep is not interested. Well, he is, but he's being camera shy right now. Okay. So this will be the first one. This is the one that has 2 in it. Shirts. All right, let's see what we got here. So Terry actually always asked, I don't know why, I have a whole closet of them, but Terry loved getting different t-shirts from shows and stuff that he loved. That and pajama pants. So he always said, just give me shirts and pajama pants, which I never just got him shirts and pajama pants, because that's, you know, he needed more than that, but that's why there's going to be a theme tonight. So let's see if I can get you guys to see this. This is okay. So I don't know if anybody watching this will know who that is. Yeah, Clint, Chris is still around. He was on camera just before you got here. He's wearing his underoos. I call him his underoos. He has to wear a diaper now because he is old and has some incontinence issues. Okay, so, and then the other shirt is related. I'm going to wait and see. I'll give you guys a few minutes. Let me know if anybody knows who this is. Okay, no clue. No clue. Anybody else? No? Okay. So, Terry and I are big fans of Doctor Who. Now, everybody kind of knows nowadays, everybody knows Doctor Who. See, if Cy Bob was here, he would, hey, Rod Swindle got it. You're right, Rod. Yeah, so Terry and I are big fans of Doctor Who. And unfortunately, nowadays, everybody only remembers like what everybody calls New Who. You're right, Tim. They're both the same guy. They're both from Doctor Who. And so everybody knows now New Who, which is like pretty much 2002 and on, which is when it came back, the revival came back. It came back with Chris Eccleston, then it went to David Tennant, then it went to Matt Smith, then it went to Capaldi, then Jodie Whittaker, and then back to David Tennant, and then the most recent one was Ncuti Gatwa. But Doctor Who actually started in the 1960s. So it was on at the same time as the original Dark Shadows. It was kind of like the BBC's Dark Shadows, to be honest. It was live to tape. It was cheesy. It was black and white. It was supposed to be a kid's show. Very corny. You can see the sets move and stuff like that. And the original incarnation of Doctor Who actually had 8 different doctors before they ended up taking a break for like 15, 20 years, whatever it was, and came back in 2002. So William Hartnell was the very first doctor, the very first actor who played the Doctor on Doctor Who in the 1960s. And a long time ago, I'd say probably like a decade ago, Terry had seen on one of those Facebook ads a T-shirt with William Hartnell on it. But it was for one of those places that was like, you couldn't really trust that they were legitimate. You know how you send your money and then you get nothing for it? So we didn't get it. And ever since then, I've been looking for William Hartnell shirts because Terry loves William Hartnell. He was old, he was crusty, he was grumpy. He was the kind of, the Doctor eventually became somebody who was very benevolent and like, I want to save everybody kind of a doctor. William Hartnell's first Doctor was kind of like, oh, well, they're going to die. Okay, we better save ourselves, kind of a curmudgeon. And Terry loved that. So that was, I finally found the William Hartnell shirt. So now I have some really big night shirts that I can wear. Okay. New Who, old Who. Well, now I don't even know what's going on with Doctor Who anymore. So Ncuti Gatwa, who I actually loved, ended up they canceled it. As soon as the BBC brought Disney on board to invest in it, a lot of the old Doctor Who fans got really disillusioned and stopped watching it, and a lot of the ratings just tanked. So after 2 seasons, they basically called an end to it. And I don't think Doctor Who will ever go away from the BBC. That's like their big meat and potatoes. But yeah, it's on like a long permanent hiatus for right now. And supposedly Ncuti's done. If it comes back, supposedly it'll be somebody else. So do you, Rod? Yeah, Rod says he has a VHS of the first Doctor Who episodes. We have BritBox, so we were watching them on there. We actually have like almost every streaming service you could think of. What's funny, Clint, is saying you don't remember much of Doctor Who. I didn't know anything about Doctor Who. And I didn't even know Tom Baker, like Ghosty said. I didn't know anything about it. But in like 2002, when New Who came on, they were running it on the Sci-Fi Channel, and it was with Chris Eccleston, who was Doctor Number 9. And I just, like, it was on some night when I was doing something, and I just kind of started watching it, and I thought, oh, this is fun. This is kind of cool. And I ended up telling Terry, I was like, I saw this new show called Doctor Who, and he started laughing. He's like, that's been on since the 1960s. So he knew about it. I didn't know about it. I discovered it because of New Who, but then I went back and watched all the old stuff. I like William Hartnell. The second doctor was Patrick Troughton, who we called Terry and I called Mo Doctor because he looks like Mo Howard. His haircut, he had that bowl haircut. But I actually always loved Doctor Number 3, which is John Pertwee, who was also known for work in Hammer horror films. So everybody loves Tom Baker. I think he's probably the most popular of the original, like the early doctors. Everybody loves him. He has now turned into an old curmudgeon like William Hartnell, which is funny. But I think he's just kind of burned out with the whole Doctor Who thing. But he is the oldest living doctor as of right now. So, okay. Let's see, what's next? This one? We'll do this one. This one? Okay, you guys tell me. The blue one or the orange one? I'll wait because I know there's a delay. And Ghosty, you shouldn't be looking. You should be blindfolded right now because you're not going to get the full effect of us opening packages on the radio if you're looking at the video. Ooh, I have two different votes. One says blue, one says orange. Oh, two for orange. All right, we'll go with orange. You guys can't see, but I have cats crawling all over me, and as I take the wrapping paper off and toss it on the bed, the little one is literally jumping over my lap and pile driving into the wrapping paper. So at least they're having fun in all of this. Oh, honey. All right. Another shirt. All right, let's see what this one is, and then we'll talk. Because like I said, Terry was all about his character t-shirts. All right. Let's see if you guys know who this is. There's one cat over here. That's Ho-Ho. And then Hermie, he's down here, but he's small, so you can't see him. This is Hermie. And Fritz is asleep on the couch across from me. So he's over it. He's been around this way too much since he was a baby. Yep. Kolchak the Night Stalker. So this one I actually, stop. This one I actually got, I got myself one of these too because my birthday is coming up on the 21st. Me, Terry, Ghosty, and Neural all had September birthdays, like back to back. I think there might have been more, but there was at least that 4. But I got me one of these too because I absolutely, many reasons. First of all, I absolutely love the show Kolchak the Night Stalker. Second of all, which it was only one season. I don't know why it didn't go longer because it's very popular. Like I put a clip of Kolchak up on TikTok and the amount of response I got from people was amazing. Like everybody remembers the show, loves the show. But it was only like 12 episodes, like 12 one-hour episodes or something like that. So I don't even know why they didn't do more because it obviously was very popular. Also, love Darren McGavin. in everything I've ever seen him in, from this, Kolchak the Night Stalker, to the movies. Kolchak started out as TV movies, to he was in A Christmas Story. He was in he was even in The X-Files. He was even played a reoccurring character, I think, in either 2 or 3 episodes of The X-Files. But the reason why he was in The X-Files is because Chris Carter was a big fan of Kolchak the Night Stalker. It was just kind of that whole like boogeyman of the week kind of philosophy. So I got myself one of these too. And also, not only do I love Kolchak, not only do I love Darren McGavin, but it was a Dan Curtis production. So a lot of people don't know that either. Dan Curtis, who did Dark Shadows and Trilogy of Terror and all of those, Kolchak was actually his show. And we actually have, I don't know if you guys will be able, well, I can move the camera. Hold on. Over on the wall, see if you can see this. I can't zoom in, but we actually have a metal sign. There's glare. I'm sorry. But if you see over there at the top is Jonathan Fritta's Barnabas, and under that is Darren McGavin as Kolchak. So we have a whole Dark Shadows / Dan Curtis wall of memorabilia in our house. So Dan Curtis was always a big deal for us. Oh, that's right. Rod is in September too. What day in September, Rod? I think Clint. I know Tim just had a birthday not too long ago. And Clint, didn't you just have a birthday too? I think so. Yeah, Kevin was in July. I remember that. I think I'm right. I'm really bad with dates. I can't tell you how many times I have to look up people's birthdays. I'm horrible with it. Clint's was in February. You know, I also have inherited the inability to have any perception of time, which is something Terry had a problem with. Like, even the other day I was thinking about Chris Christopherson when I was gathering music for Terry's Celebration of Life that just aired on Cult Radio. And I was like, oh, yeah, he didn't die that long ago. But he did. He died, like, last year. I remember David Lynch passed away in January. And I remember Michael Cole passed away 9 months ago. But Michael Cole seems like he's been gone longer. And Chris, it seems like he's been gone less. I'm apparently losing my mind completely. So, yay, I got Kevin right. I got one right. Okay, so Tim's was in June. It wasn't that long ago. To me, that's not that long ago. So, you know, what's funny is that I don't know anybody that was born on Halloween. I know somebody who was born close to Halloween. Kevin knows him too. But my neighbors across the street, they were married on Halloween, which I think is fantastic. I think that's perfect. Because why not, right? Just stuff it all in. Okay. And you know what, Clint? You probably wouldn't want your birthday to be on Halloween, because then it would be like having your birthday on Christmas. You would be like, nobody ever is available. Nobody's ever around. Everybody's off doing stuff on the holiday. Like, I'm sure at some point it would get old and you would be like, no, I just want like attention and want to be celebrated. Like, if you share it with like a big day, like Halloween or Christmas, then that's not going to give you the leverage to be able to have it be your day, because you're sharing it. Even with Terry and I, with ours being 11 days apart, it was always like one or the other of us got focused on. And by the time, you know, usually we would celebrate his, and then by the time we got to mine, I was so burned out with birthdays. I'm just like, everybody's like, what do you want to do for your birthday? I'm like, sleep. I want to sleep. I want to not have to do anything. And I want somebody to bring me dinner so I don't have to cook. That was it. That was, I mean, when I was younger, yeah, I celebrated birthdays, but now I'm like, who cares? Did not know that, Ghosty. Yeah, I learned something new. Over 2 decades of knowing Ghosty, and I learn something new every day. Okay. Okay, package number 1 or package number 2? So number 1 or number 2? I'm saving the big one till the end. We're already like halfway there already. Number 1 or number 2? Terry would actually hate when I would do this because I would pull out, okay, number 1, it's over here. Number 1. 2 goes for number 1. We're going number 1. I would pull out for birthday week. I would bring out literally every single package and I would make him pick. And he was always like, just pick one. Just pick one for me. I don't know. Just pick one. I'm like, no, you're defeating the purpose. He's like, well, I don't want to open something that shouldn't be opened yet because it's the bigger one. I said, I'm not stupid. I didn't put the bigger one in the lot to pick from. That one's hidden upstairs. But you can pick from these. I would make him pick. All right. Here we go. Hermie, you want wrapping paper? He's over it now. Here, boys. Well, I'm going to have to clean that up later. Okay. Who knows? It's another shirt. Who knows what this is? Oh, you guys still do the haunted ship. Clint, do you still volunteer and do it every year with them? Yeah, that's a good guess, Tim or Clint, but it's not. No, it's not the guy that sings Fire. Oh, that's a good guess too, Tim. It's closer to what Tim guessed than Arthur Brown. It could be Arthur Brown who sings Fire, but it's not Arthur Brown. It's closer to Tim's guess, which is from the Twilight Zone episode. Ghosty, I would venture to say that Ghosty got it right. Kind of. There is a version of this in Big. So this Zoltar is, if you guys don't know, go on Google later and look up Zoltar or Zoltar fortune teller. So it's one of those like fortune telling machines. It's like in Big, and actually there is a version of Zoltar in Big. So it's like where you see at a carnival where you put in like a quarter and you squeeze the hand or pull the lever or whatever, and he gives you a fortune. So that's what Zoltar Speaks is. It's one of those vending machines with a fortune teller in it, and it's like a mechanical fortune teller, and you put in the thing and spits out a little card, and it talks and lights up and all that other kind of stuff. And there's a company that makes them that has been making them since I think like the 60s or 70s. And they do them for arcades and places like Coney Island and things like that. And Zoltar Speaks was one of the most popular ones. And it is the one that they used to fashion the fortune telling machine out after that's in Big. I actually think it might be the same company that did the one for Big. But also, anytime you go anywhere that has like an arcade where you see something that's like Zoltar, but he looks different, chances are the same company made it because they make a whole line of them They make different ones. They have ones that look like a witch. They have ones that look like a gypsy. They actually have one which I think is hilarious. They have one that looks like Willie Nelson. Why? I don't know. Because I would listen to Willie Nelson tell me what my future's going to bring. But Terry, first of all, Terry loves anything that's carnival, midway, fair, kind of traveling sideshow, freak show kind of thing. He loved anything like that. And then also just this character specifically, the Zoltar Speaks. He's always loved this. So they actually sell them. Like, you can buy a Zoltar Speaks like unit, like the full floor standing one. It's like the size of a pinball machine game, but it was like $3,000 or something crazy like that. It's one of the things we always wanted to get. We always wanted to get a full-size Zoltar. We always wanted to get a full-size pinball machine. We always wanted to get a full-size jukebox that took records, not CDs. But see, A, they're super expensive. B, it's impossible to ship them. And C, what the hell happens when they break? And you know they're going to, because anything that's like that, any kind of animatronic or vending or anything like that, electronic, is going to break. So then you have to find a specialized service guy, and you're going to pay through the nose to have him come out. And so, yeah, I figured he could just have the t-shirt instead, because ain't nobody got money or time for that. So, okay, so there's one more little one, and then there's the big one. And the big one, like I said, we'll have to see how much of it you guys can actually see on this, because I'm somewhat limited. Okay. I'm just catching up with chat. Oh, the one with Shatner. Yeah, it's close to that, Clint. But it's not exactly that. It's actually, it is closer to, like Ghosty said, from Big. But the one from the Shatner Twilight Zone episode was actually a tabletop unit. It was a fortune teller, but it was a tabletop unit. And it has I can't show it to you because it's in the corner and there's not light on it, so you wouldn't be able to see it. But actually, you can buy the tabletop little fortune telling machines that are like the ones in the Twilight Zone episode with Shatner, but they're super expensive. So because I'm always like inventive and looking for alternatives, one year for Christmas, I had said, well, you know what? Like, I'll just make my own. Like, how hard can it be? Famous last words, right? Because it like kind of like looked like a napkin holder. So obviously, like, it had knobs and buttons and stuff on it, and the little devil head on top of it. So I bought an old-fashioned napkin holder. I painted it red. I printed out and made thick 3-dimensional versions of all of the signs that were on it and the stars and all that kind of stuff, copied it to a photo. And then I found a head bobber that they were selling of the little devil head that's on top of it. So I bought that. I cut it off the stand, put it on a hot glued it to a spring, and then hot glued that to the top of it's called the Mystic Seer. And then because I wanted to make it special, we had actually just that year interviewed Rod Serling's daughter on the radio show. And so I emailed her and I said, here's what I'm doing. Here's what I'm making for my dad for Christmas. And I was like, do you think I could get like an index card with your autograph on it? Because I wanted to put it on the sides of the napkin holder. Instead of putting the napkin in there, I wanted to put the card with Ann Serling's autograph in there. Unfortunately, I couldn't get Rod because Rod Serling had passed long ago. And Anne was so sweet. She sent a big index card, and she wrote like a little inscription to Terry, and she signed it. And so I stuffed it in there, and I gave it to Terry for Christmas one year. I'll have to see if I can get a picture of it later. Like I said, it's up on a shelf, like in the corner, and there's not light on it. So even if I could manage to get that high, which I won't be able to, you won't be able to see it because it's too dark in here. But yeah. And it was funny because it was one of those things I was doing out in the kitchen. Like I was spray painting it and shellacking it, and Terry kept smelling this awful smell. He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Never mind. It's for Christmas. None of your business." Is that a... Oh, yeah, that is a Dalek. Yeah. When we're done here, we only have 2 left. I can take you out there and show you guys that. Because the camera's wireless, so I can actually take you out there. But I have to turn him on. He actually works. It is a Dalek from Doctor Who. He's full size, and he works. I think there's actually a video of that on YouTube, though, Clint. It might be easier. After this YouTube live is over, if you just go back on our page and just look up Dalek, D-A-L-E-K, or look up Doctor Who, it should come up. I put up a couple of videos. One is a full-length video of when we got it, and I assembled it, which was a nightmare. And the other one is, I think, a short that's like a vertical video that's like 60 seconds. It shows him working. His light, his light globe glows blue. His eyeball glows blue, and he talks. He sounds like a Dalek from Doctor Who. Like he has the robotic noise. It actually scares the cats when I set it off because it's very loud, and very bright, and it booms and echoes. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's actually built to BBC specifications. So the person who gave it to us was actually a fabricator, somebody who makes props and stuff for the movie industry. And he got a hold of the plans that the BBC uses to make the Daleks. And he made one and sent it to us. But it's because it's made to the BBC specifications, that's why it's so big. It's the kind that they use in the show. And so if you take off the top of him, and I know I've never done this, I've never been inside of him, but if you take off the top of him, a person can actually crawl inside and fit inside. And there's like a little stool that the person, the actor on the set, will sit inside the Dalek, and there's like part of his screen under his hood is like a mesh screen that the actor can see through, and they can pedal and move the Dalek around, kind of like Fred Flintstone in his car, because there's no bottom on it. So it's big because an actual person can sit inside of it and run it like a robot. But no, I would not get inside of it because I'm clumsy, and I would have to call 911 because I would tip it over, be on my side, and be trapped inside of a Dalek. We all know how that'll go. Yes, Clint, we do still have all the Phantasm stuff. We still have the ball that you sent, that you made, they sent. Yeah, we have all that stuff. We would never get rid of that stuff. We love Angus too much, and Reggie, and all of them. Okay, next one. This is the only small one left. So this is what we're doing next. And then we'll try to see how much you guys can see with the big one. Oh, last shirt. Now, I know that you guys will know what this is, and if you don't, it won't matter because it'll spell it out for you. It's not hard to figure out. And I'm assuming that most people that listen to Cult Radio know what this is. So Terry, for a while, got really into getting T-shirts of all of his favorite film studios. And we started with ones like American International Pictures, AIP. He got 2 shirts from Roger Corman. Ho, what are you doing? Ho, you know you're on camera, right? We got 2 from Roger Corman's Studios Concord and New Horizons. We got some of the classic Universal logos on shirts for him. And 2 of them that we didn't get yet was Hammer Horror, because Terry loves the Hammer Horror films. Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing, all of them. And then the other one was Amicus. I don't think we got Amicus either. Imhotep, get off the table. Thank you. But this was adding to that collection. You know what, Clint? I had forgotten that I actually years ago got Terry a Phantasm t-shirt. I also got him a Jonathan Frid shirt. It wasn't just Dark Shadows. It was Jonathan Frid as Barnabas. I just recently found those not too long ago. And I was like, hey, did you remember that we had these? He's like, nope. I was like, yeah. Yeah, we actually got 2 AIP shirts, Rod. And to be honest, I couldn't find any American International Pictures shirts. So I made them. I basically got high resolution versions of the logos, and I had custom shirts made with the AIP logos on there. If anybody wants one, if you want to buy one, let me know, and I won't make anything off of it. You can basically buy it for cost. I can run it. I still have the logos in our Spreadshirt account. I just haven't made them public because I don't own them. But they made the shirts for me, no problem. So if anybody wants any of the Roger Corman studio shirts or the AIP shirts that I made off of just like high-res images that I found online, let me know. Clint, we still have the Gizmo shirt too. I remember that I got pissed off because I didn't have one. And so I went out and found one for myself. But we have both of them. We have his, and we have the one that I bought for myself. Okay. One more. Hey, look, we're at just about an hour. So, this one is the big one. So I don't know how well this will come off on camera, but we can try. Yeah, Clint, I actually found this same Gizmo shirt at our Walmart here, but they didn't have Terry's size, but they did have my size, so it worked out. But I was like, you're not going to be the only one to have a Gizmo shirt. Okay, so see how we did this. Well, I guess I'll just open it first, and then we'll go from there. Okay. Now, the outer box is kind of nondescript, so I will likely have to open it all the way to see the inner box. Terry would have been very excited to get this. Okay. So based off of, here, I'll show you this part. Based off of our earlier conversation in this very chat, you might have a pretty good idea of what's in this box. So let me find, hold on. Got a blade here somewhere. Try to do this without opening up a vein, because I'm not going back to the hospital. I actually told the doctor, there was Unfortunately, at USC, most of the staff that we knew was gone. In fact, Terry had left USC as his primary cancer care facility this January of this year, because the doctor, the hematologist that we love, Dr. Tupoli, had retired. And a lot of the staff that we knew had retired or quit or left or been fired or whatever the case may be. So Terry had said, well, if my doctor, Dr. Tupoli, is not going to be here, why am I going to keep driving 2 hours down to LA to go to a cancer center when, City of Hope, which is ranked just as high, if not higher, than USC Cancer Center, has a remote office. It's literally like 30 minutes away. So in January, he had transferred to City of Hope. But he ended up back at USC because when he was in the hospital in Palmdale, they basically said, we need to get him to a cancer center, and USC was slightly closer than the City of Hope Hospital, which was in Duarte. And they said, USC has his records and all that stuff, so they transferred him to USC. But it was totally new staff of doctors, which I was not fond of. And basically the last couple days or so of Terry's life, I had to repeatedly fight with the doctors to honor Terry's last wishes, because they would ask me, do you know what your father's wishes were? And I told them, I said, yeah, my dad almost died 3 years ago. And I said, we were in the same situation. All of his organs were in failure, and he was basically in a coma. And I said, I had many doctors 3 years ago that told me he was going to die. So I said, he didn't. And we had 3 years to talk about what his wishes were. And I said, my dad's wishes are he wants to have everything done to keep him alive, because the doctors were, sorry, I got distracted. The cat just threw up. I said, the doctors were wrong before. And besides, my dad doesn't think that the doctors have a right to decide or play God, that it's between him and God. And so he wants every chance. And then I heard all this BS from the doctors about how they were trying to guilt me into letting them give up on him, saying that I was putting him through pain and misery by keeping him, getting treatment because he wasn't going to come back from this, blah, 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 blah. I finally ended up getting a hold of a doctor who, for some reason, had reminded me of Dr. Tupoli. And I told the doctor that, and the doctor acted like he was going to fall over. And I said, no. I said, it was meant as a compliment. Like, I love Dr. Tupoli. And he said, no. He goes, that is the best compliment I've received in a very long time, because he said Dr. Tupoli was his mentor. And so this doctor, Dr. Rao, I talked to him, told him what I'd been going through, and he said, I'm very sorry. He's like, I'm going to talk to the staff, and none of them will, put you through this again. Which he did, and they listened, and they obeyed, so that was good. But Dr. Rao was there the day that my dad passed. And when everything was said and done, he had told me, he had said, well, he's like, you did honor your dad's wishes. And he's like, the only thing left that you can do to honor him is to take care of yourself. And he said, I do not want to see you back here. And I said, oh, doctor, you don't have to worry about that. I'm not coming back here. And I said, if, the cancer ever gets me, I said, they can just, push me down the stairs into the garage and let the cats eat me. And he started laughing, and then he was like, I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh, but that's so dark, but it's funny. And I said, it's that dark sense of humor and that sarcasm. I said, I got that from my dad. And I said, I was thinking to myself, only our listeners would understand that. Okay, so here's the inner box, which is not much fancier than the outer box. So we're still going through the unboxing. So hold on. Although every time I open a box, it gets a little smaller. Oh, another inner box. Ugh. Okay. Okay. So it's not, clearly, it's not a full-size Zoltar. But what this is a tabletop 14-inch working replica of Zoltar Speaks. So it says, accurate replica of deluxe Zoltar Speaks in 1/6 scale, fully animated head, eyes, mouth, and arm, mini coin operated and free play button activation, speaks all 16 recorded messages, fortune card dispenser, which is hilarious because it's only a 6-inch scale replica. It's a collectible, it's a toy, but the cards are like maybe like a half an inch. They're tiny. I've seen videos of it, but it's still cute. Fortune card dispenser with all 55 fortunes included, motion sensor activated to attract mode, hand painted and quality built with premium materials, reproduction LED cabinet lighting featuring multicolor changing crystal ball, mini faux power cord, which is like a little rat tail to make it look like it has a power cord even though it runs off batteries. Collector quality packaging and unboxing, officially licensed by Characters Unlimited. That's the company that makes all of these full-size fortune-telling machines, the Characters Unlimited. 100-day factory warranty. Included was one Zoltar fortune teller machine in 1/6 scale, one USB-C power cable, one roll of mini fortunes, 8 mini metal arcade tokens, one mini faux power cord. So this is the thing that I was saying is yeah, Ghosty. You know what? I would normally be annoyed by being interrupted by Shakira, but she's gonna make me look good, so that's fine because she'll probably get people to tune in. I wish I looked like Shakira. Okay. I'll just show you all the sides of the box. I'm not gonna open it tonight because I've actually seen some YouTube unboxings of this, and it takes a little bit to you have to open him up. First of all, you have to charge him, either charge or batteries. I think he might work on charge. So you have to charge him, and then you also have to open him up to install the fortunes so that the little teeny tiny coins you put in will actually work him and spit out a fortune, all that kind of stuff. So I'll just show you all sides of the box, and then I promise at some point, I got a lot going on right now, but at some point I will open this and put him together and make like a little video of him for you guys. Carrie would have been so excited to get this because this would have been the closest we could have gotten to like a full-size Zoltar, because I wasn't about to, I couldn't afford to spend a couple grand on a full-size Zoltar and then freight shipping and installation, all that kind of stuff. But he had actually seen, we had found out that they had these little ones, these 1/6 replicas. We had found out because we watch another YouTuber named Scott Michaels on his channel that's called Dearly Departed. And he got one of these because he's also a big Zoltar fan. And he bought one of these and had a little YouTube video of it. And we were like, oh my God, that's so cool. And I was like, I wonder if I could find them. And I did. And Terry did say at one point a few months ago, he's like, I want a toy. And I had already bought this. So there's his toy. There's I have a lot of cleanup, guys. I have wrapping paper all over the place. I have 2 or 3 boxes from Zoltar. Ho-Ho just threw up on the floor over there. I don't think you guys heard him, but, it's been a long day. So, oh, and then I had to share this one other story with you guys before we go. Yeah, Clint, I think so. Terry probably would have shit his pants over seeing that. And then, oh, I know Terry, because here's what would have happened. He would have said, oh my God, that's awesome. I love it. How cool. And then he would have said, how much did this cost? And I would have said, don't worry about it. It's your birthday. And then he would have said, that means it was expensive. And I would have said, don't worry about it. It's your birthday. Oh, Fritzy. Here, Clint. Here's Fritz. And his underoos. I'm actually not shaming him. I actually think it's really cute. The cats have been trying to adjust. They definitely know that there's something different in the house. Plus the fact that it's just me, and they loved sleeping with Terry and being on Terry and being with Terry. So it's a bit of an adjustment for everybody. Oh, the other story I wanted to share with you guys, because again, morbid sense of, not even morbid, just sarcastic sense of dark sense of humor, right? So at USC, after everything happened, and I've shared some details with you guys, but I mean, if anybody really wants to know, like, everything that happened, you can reach out to me and let me know. I can tell you more of what happened, but I've kept it very vague just because I know it's painful. It's painful to hear. It's painful to think about. I've told it so many times now that it's kind of become numb to me, but if anybody wants more details about like his last afternoon, let me know and I can share them with you. But not going into that part, like I said, I've kept it very vague, but one of the other stories that just cracks me up, and again, it's not really funny, it's just dark funny. After Terry had passed, I was, of course, pretty inconsolable. And so I was sitting outside of the hospital room. The room was shut and everything, but I was sitting outside. I was sitting in the hall. Because you have to understand, you have to remember, USC is like a 2-hour drive from where we live. And it was starting to get late, and there was LA traffic, which means that at this point, if I would have left LA, by the time I got to driving up the canyon, it would have been dark. And I had been crying, and I was hyperventilating, and I was having panic attacks, and all of this stuff. And so I was sitting outside of Terry's room trying to collect myself and trying to figure out if I could drive home or if I needed to have somebody come and get me in my car and help me get home because, being a Virgo and being stubborn, I was like, I got this. I'll be fine. And then every time I thought I was fine, I would start crying again. So I'm sitting outside the room and I'm inconsolable and I'm crying. And I'm sitting next to like the end of this hallway where there's these 2 double metal doors. And the nurse comes over and opens the double doors and wheels out this little like metal cart. It wasn't even metal. It was like plastic, like plexiglass, like this little black and clear cart. And on the cart was like 3 or 4 bottles of water and a little basket with like chips, like potato chips and nuts, and a card on it that says, for the family of room 4307, which was Terry's room number. And she goes, here, this is for you. And I just start laughing. I just completely lose it. Like, I'm sure, like, every single nurse was pretty sure that I had just snapped and that they were going to have to put me on like a hold because I needed to go to the loony bin. Like, I'm pretty sure everybody thought I had lost my mind. And so I'm just like dying laughing, and they're looking at me like, okay, do we call somebody because she's like lost it? And I look at her and I said, I'm sorry. I was like, I appreciate, like, I understand that you're doing that. This is a nice gesture. I understand that. I understand it's a nice gesture. I understand you're doing it with empathy. I also understand the fact that as a nurse and a doctor and all of them, that situation is something that is more commonplace to them. More so to them than me. Like, they've dealt with this probably many times before, especially in a cancer hospital. And I said, I get that this is like routine for you, and I get that this is coming from a good place. I was like, but I'm sorry. I have to laugh at how ridiculous this is. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, you lost your dad. Here, have some chips. Like, like, in what world does that make sense? And I just lost it laughing. I still think it's hilarious. Like, how is that comforting? I don't get it. And then she was like, yeah, exactly. They gave me snacks. They're like, oh, we're so sorry for your loss. Have some Pringles. I'm like, what? What? No. And the nurse was like, okay, so okay. And so the nurse was like, well, she's like, I know, but she goes, to be fair, she goes, this is normally brought out when, like, the family comes to gather around the patient before they pass. She's just like, so everything moved rather quickly. And she's like, and there was no family to gather around Terry. It was just me. And so I was like, I get it. I was like, it's not you guys. I was like, it's just, And so she did say, well, there is something kind of something else in here that you might actually want. And she opened up the bottom drawer, and there was this beautiful, like, hand crocheted blanket that I guess volunteers to the cancer center crochet for the patients' families. And so she gave me that, and then they made a pendant. They actually had like a little, I don't know what you call it, but like a thing where you take impressions, like a little wax pad or something like that. And they took an impression of Terry's thumbprint, and they're going to etch that on the back of a pendant and put my dad's initials on it and mail it to me. So that was nice. But I just thought, this is so ludicrous. It's like, oh, here, we're sorry. Here's some stuff. Like, this is not an airplane. This is not a flight. Like, things don't, and it's not a dentist either. Like, I'm not the kid that's going to be better if you give me a sucker. Like, it's just not, this is not any kind of, it's not going to fix it. It's not going to fix it, kind of a thing. Terry hardly had any teeth. He still ate nuts. Sometimes I would grind them up, but he would still eat them. You can't give up nuts. Am I right, K-Ray? Can't give up nuts. Okay, guys. So we've gone for an hour and 15 minutes. For this weekend, I'm going to probably be wrapping up here soon. For this weekend on CRAGG, it'll likely stay on Random Play, although I will probably on Saturday do a block of Terry's WLUV shows, and then I'll probably replay his Celebration of Life this coming Saturday during the CRAGG Live slot, because it was I wanted to play it today because it was his birthday. But it was a weird day for CRAGG Live. It was a Wednesday night, and so there's probably people that didn't know about it, that didn't see me spamming social media, and so I want to replay it on Saturday. But after that, um, after that, then I'm going to try to get back to some kind of a semblance of normalcy with CRAGG. I don't know, honestly, I don't know how frequently I will have new shows. I'm going to try, but I want to know what you guys want to hear. I am not in a place to where I can do interviews right now. So I don't even know if I can do it. I mean, I know I have done interviews by myself before, but I don't know if I'm there yet, as far as being ready. So once I get back to being able to do new content, just let me know, like, what you guys want to hear. I mean, do you want to hear old CRAGGs with Terry? Do you want to hear new CRAGG Lives? Do you want to hear me hosting? Do you want to hear Kook Show Baby? Do you want to, I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of, I will keep things going because Terry asked me to, and it's what we built together. So I will carry on the legacy. But I got to find a new rhythm, and it might be a minute before that happens. So anything that you guys want to share with, you know how to get a hold of me, Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, TikTok or YouTube or email or whatever. Just let me know what you guys want to do. I know what Terry had an idea of. Terry said, well, when I'm gone, Ghosty will just start hosting with you. I don't think he ran this by Ghosty. And I don't think he realized how difficult it would be from across the country. But that was Terry's plan. Terry had quite a few plans that he just said, this is how it'll be. But, you know, but yeah, I am going to, hi, Jerry. Thank you. And Jerry, I do appreciate all the support that you've given. Actually, I appreciate everybody's support. What I said in the show tonight, that wasn't a lie. It wasn't make believe, you know. Literally, since Terry passed away a week ago, I have not had one day, not one, where the day has gone by without my phone ringing off the hook. I mean, people calling, people texting, emailing, messages. I've had 3 camps of people that have been holding me up through all of this, and if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have gotten through it. I've had my friends that I know that live local to me, that I've known for years. They have every single one of them has been checking in on me constantly, offering to bring me food, making sure that I'm eating, making sure that I'm sleeping, making sure that I'm not just staying in bed and refusing to get out of bed, refusing to get out and see the light of day. My second group has been my community where I live, because we are a very small town. It's kind of like Mayberry up here. And so everybody up here has been super supportive and helpful. Even bringing me flowers and making sure, checking in on me, making sure I'm okay, saying, you know, I'm here. Let's go, you know, get a coffee or something, just talk, or here's my phone number, call me if you need somebody to talk to. And then, of course, the cult radio community and everybody that I've known you. Cult radio has been a part of my life since 2002, so 23 years. So friends from there, and listeners, and fellow broadcasters, and fellow collaborators, some from present day, some that I haven't talked to in years, just kind of everybody, guests, celebrities that we've interviewed, everybody has just been coming through. So I really, really, really really appreciate all of the support. It says, when you have time, a compilation of Terry's stories would be cool. What do you mean by stories? Do you mean like a book or like memories or like what do you mean by stories? It is kind of like Mayberry. Yeah, Jerry, we don't live where we used to live. We live somewhere else that's even smaller, but more. Actually, it's a smaller community, but it's more of a community than where we used to live. So yeah, it is a lot. It is a lot like Mayberry. It's a very small town. We live up in the forest now. We live in the Angeles National Forest instead of the desert, which is fucking awful. I still remember when I had to go out into the desert to find Jerry because he got lost on the way to the house. And I was like, well, it won't be hard to find Jerry with the get up, with the outfit. It wasn't hard. So it's in regards to K-Ray, what you were saying, I am wanting, I don't know if this is what you're talking about, but I am wanting to take our interviews and put them into books, like collections, and publish them. But that's going to take a lot of time, just because every interview has to be transcribed, and then I have to write an opening and a closing and format it, and I haven't actually done that before, which I'm sure I can figure it out. It's just going to take some time. I am still also working with Videoscope. I'm going to be doing a transcript of our Jeffrey Combs interview for Nancy. And yeah, so I mean, I do want to get the books out. The books are actually something I've wanted to do for a long time. I just never had time to do it. The sad thing is that even with us stopping doing a lot of the interviews, it got to the point where a lot of the people that we would have interviewed or wanted to interview had passed on. Like, unfortunately, like, there's not a lot of people left. And now we're getting into the thing with even celebrities from like the 80s are starting to pass on. So, okay. Audio recordings. Oh, good Lord. That would be so much. That would be a lot. We have hours and hours and hours of old CRAGG lives. And I know that he told so many stories and stuff during them. That would be a fun collection. It'd be a lot of audio to sift through, though. Yeah. I am glad that we have all of the previous CRAGG lives up on a station. They're over on Drive-In Movie Radio. So that and all of Terry's WLUV stuff, all of Terry's old AM/FM radio hits, all drops, all of that is up there, as well as some of our older shows from Cult Radio. So they're in random rotation, and you can listen to that, tune at any time at drive-inmovie.com. That's drive-inmovie.com. And there will be stuff. I just, my next thing is just making sure Terry gets laid to rest, which will hopefully be next week. Getting his headstone, which that takes about 2 weeks. And then trying to figure out a time where I can make it out to Illinois to visit him and Grandma and Grandpa. But Cult Radio will continue. TikTok, YouTube, all the other stuff that Terry and I built and we're working with Videoscope, all of that will continue. It's just as far as like new content with the live show, we'll take it week by week. Okay? So I am going to head out because I have to clean up the mess. And I'm old now, so I go to bed by like 10 because I can't sleep. I've been getting up anywhere between 3 and 5 in the morning. But I want to thank everybody. Honestly, like, all of your love and support has really, really meant a lot. And for those of you that donated, thank you so much. Like I said at the start of this YouTube live, not counting me going to Illinois, when all of this is said and done, just the funeral, just the burial arrangements and the flight and the headstone, I'm looking at $13,000. So for all of you who have donated, thank you so much. It is appreciated. And if you couldn't donate, I totally get that. I understand that. But just all of the love, all of the messages, I've read every single one. And it really does help. So thank you. And I know that Terry is still watching down on us. He's still making sure that the radio station continues because it's what he wanted. And he's seeing everything that you guys are doing too, and all of the love and all of the outpouring. So for him and for me, thank you guys so much. Yeah, it's okay, Clint. I totally get it. I understand. I wish Terry could have made it to 70. He would have been 69 today. He always said when he got to 70, he was officially old. So I guess that means he never got old, right? So anyway, guys, I'm going to head out. Thank you to everybody for all the support and for being there and for holding me up. Honestly, you guys have made all the difference. And continue to be there. Don't go anywhere because I'm not on the other side of this yet by any means. I'm just doing like random spouts of crying for no reason at any time, at any minute of the day. Like it'll just well up. But also the stations, everything Terry and I built are not going anywhere. So don't leave because his legacy and his work will continue to live on. And part of that is your guys' involvement. Okay? All right. God bless all of you. I love you all. And I'll be around. All right. Thanks, guys. Good night.